Is it like fully charged? So it's not gonna
No, it's not fully charged. But this one's good. Hello, my name is Dr. Zach Herrera, but feel free to just call me Zach. A little background about me. I was on the show American Ninja Warrior, and I have successfully scaled Mount Midoriyama. I have the ability to rap, and I have mastered over 30 different styles of mixed martial arts. As far as education goes, I have graduated from North Central College, and I have attended grad school at Yale University, graduating with a 3.8 GPA. I have performed over 30 different mediation sessions, and I am pretty affluent in the whole mediation process. So a little background about what a mediation is, just to get the lay of the land. It's just a process in which I assist both of you parties to try to reach an agreement and try to fix and look at every issue that concerns both of your parties. It's a collaborative, consensual, and it's a informative manner, and it's really just a process to try to avoid all the court fees, and it helps a lot of people out. And I feel like this situation could definitely help both of your parties. So I'm Zach. What is your name, and what would you like to be called?
My name is Alex, and I would like to be called Alex.
Okay.
I'm Chris Rohman. I just go by Chris.
Okay, awesome. What I have here is a agreement to mediate. And I would like both of you parties to agree to this in writing. This agreement is completely voluntary, and you do not need to participate if you do not wish. I ask that both parties put forth an honest effort and try to come to an agreement, as it takes two to tango. I'm here to only guide, facilitate conversation, and my goal is to make sure that both parties are as comfortable as possible. That being said, we'll go over this real quick. A mediation is just a process in which the mediator assists both of your parties to find a way to get past any issue. I'm a neutral facilitator. That means I'm not a judge, arbitrator, or anything like that. So just feel free to tell me anything that you really need to get off your chest, and it will not be used against you. I provide professional advice and consult with legal advisors. Also, this whole process is completely confidential. If anyone is in danger of bodily harm or makes threats to harm themselves or anyone else, that just won't happen. That's the one exception that I really have, along with several others listed in the agreement that both of you already took the time to read. So as far as a breach of confidentiality goes, as far as both of the parties disclosing sensitive information to me, I want you guys to feel confident knowing that I will not disclose any sort of things that you guys tell me that you don't want me to let the other party know, or anything outside of this mediation session. I will be recording this mediation with a electronical recording device, otherwise known as an iPad. And as far as observation goes, this will only be seen by a teacher or a professor known as Miss Laura Cristolano. I know that this record will only stay between us and the professional viewing this video, and any sort of caucuses that we will go into will also be videotaped and be maintained confidential. And I have the responsibility to you guys to make sure that this is as comfortable a process and as easygoing as possible, while also focusing on the issue and tackling the problem instead of trying to be more gun towards the person. Again, this mediation process is voluntary, and you do not need to find any sort of resolution, though a resolution will probably be in both of your parties' best interests. So I would like you both to sign this as knowing that we went over to the agreement to mediate, and just let's get this process going a little bit further. So if we can start with your signature right here, that would be great. And the next party right here, sign it dotted line. And I will sign this. Okay, now that we got that taken care of, let's move on to the confidentiality. I would like to go over the stature of mediation. The confidentiality of all discussions within mediation cannot be spoken about outside of our mediation session unless requested otherwise by both parties. All conversations will remain confident by default, but can be changed depending on what either side chooses to have not be confident. After mediation, both parties are to agree that what is to be kept, on what is to be kept confidential and what is not. Myself as a mediator cannot discuss our private conversation between both of your parties unless requested to otherwise. By signing this confidentiality agreement that we just signed, we both agree that we will keep all discussions private no matter how big or small the conversation is. Now my role as a mediator is I am not a judge, arbitrator, decision maker, or legal advisor. That being said, I am just a mediator meant to solely help assist, facilitate, and guide your negotiation to help break through obstacles that may hinder resolution. My goal, as is yours, is to explore the options for agreement which is agreeable to both parties. Moving on to impartiality and neutral disclaimers. I would like it to be known that I have not met either of you parties before this mediation session. Now, your name was Alex, right?
Yes.
Alex, have I had any prior relationship with you before today?
No, not that I know
No, great. And your name was
of.
Chris. Now, Chris, have I had any prior relationship with you before today?
You have not.
Ah, thank you. Great. Now, that being said, I have no bias towards either of you parties, and I just want it to be known that neutrality is important in this mediation process, and I would like you both, if at any point I seem to be sort of biased towards one of you parties, to let me know that, and I will try my best to change it, okay? And I will not intervene in the substance of this dispute, and I will remain indifferent to both of your parties to ensure fairness. I just want to see this process and this whole resolution be found before we sort of get off track. So let's try to keep everything between you guys that's like personal out of the way, just that we try to, break through that and focus more on the issue that we have at hand. So let's just go over the quick goals and processes of mediation. The goal of our mediation is to understand the dispute and issues and explore options for mutually satisfactory agreement. Typically how this works is I open with my opening statement, which is where I explain the whole mediation process. Next, I would ask that both of your parties open with your opening statements, which is where you kind of get to explain your own side of the story and kind of like pick and choose your words on why you did, or why this whole mediation process was brought up and what you want to try to solve. Next, we will have joint discussions. This is where both of your parties are going to try to talk out the conflict and try to find a solution to it. Next, we'll go into private caucuses, which again will remain confidential, and that is where I will talk to the parties one-on-one, and we can try to discuss ideas for settlement, or try to find ways where we can kind of take care of this matter in as quick of a way and as comfortable as possible. Next will be joint negotiation. This is after the caucuses. We will discuss what we negotiated a little bit and see the ideas that we brought up and see what we can try to fix and work on. And lastly will be closure, and this is at the end of the negotiation. If an agreement has been reached, I will put it into writing, and I will have both of your parties listen to and sign the agreement. I ask that both of you, when coming up with solutions, that no idea is a bad idea, so feel free to bring up any idea that you think will work out, as I will try my best to as well. The agreement may be read by each party's lawyers for review, and if both parties do not choose to, they may write up and sign a legally binding contract. And if no agreement has been reached, that's okay. I will offer advice on what to do next and whether it be further negotiation, arbitration, or possibly going to court. Now, just so you know, the bathrooms are down the hall to the right. I have provided water and snacks for both parties to enjoy. And I just want to quickly make sure, is the room temperature okay with both of you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Is there anywhere where either of you parties have to go?
No.
No. Chris, do you have anything that you gotta go? Okay, good. Feel free to let me know if anything comes up, or if like you feel like you're a little bit too heated, we can feel free to always take a 20-minute break, or just kind of like let things settle down a little bit. That being said, we will take periodic breaks to relax, eat, or just settle down. And if any party like needs to, just please let me know. Feel free to just take deep breaths and relax anytime you feel like you're a little on edge. Now, just so we all know, just to reinstate this, mediation is all voluntary. You do not need to be here, and you may leave at any time. And I encourage you to take a break first and think hard about the decision to leave before you choose to. You do not need to reach an agreement to anything, and you can feel free to go outside and talk to outside parties such as lawyers, attorneys, etc. for advice on the agreement. Lastly, just to set the ground rules, one of my roles is to enforce the ground rule of just keeping the discussion on track. If at all I feel like the discussion is getting off of track, I will try to guide it back on so that we can just focus on the solution, on finding a solution. I ask that neither party interrupt the other party, and that each party will take the time required to critically think before responding to something that you do not agree with. I ask that each party remains as calm as possible, and that yelling and fighting will not be tolerated in this mediation session. No sign of disrespect towards either party or myself will be tolerated either. Now, are there any questions before we begin?
No.
Okay, great. Alex, if you would like to start with your opening statement, or yeah, that would be great.
All right. So I moved in with Chris. I've been living with Chris for about a couple of years, and he's kicked me out. So I feel that I was trying to work really hard on our apartment life and friendship to be satisfying.
Okay.
I would make dinner, a great dinner for both of us every night, and I feel that I put all this effort into making this dinner for him, well, for us, and he doesn't tell me when he's working late, so it feels like I put all this effort in and I don't get really anything out of it, and I don't feel very happy about that. By the time that Chris gets home, I just don't feel like doing dishes because I spent all this time trying to make this really good meal. Like, I get all these recipes online, and it'd just be nice if he were to tell me if he was going to stay overnight, or not overnight, overtime for work. I also came up with found this company about Max Style, and it's when we take basically a set of jewels and we distribute it out, but I asked my dad if we can put a buy-in fee for it. He said he didn't want me to spend money on little toys. I felt really bad about that, so I asked Chris if he wanted to join me. He agreed to give me $2,500 for the company to start it up, and ever since then, he didn't really do anything to really help the process keep on going. So I'm stuck with all the paperwork, design and construction, and shipping is all on my shoulders. We also have really different philosophies about it. Chris decided or brought the idea of design a few pieces, and then make lots of copies because it would be more efficient like assembly line, but I think that really ruins the idea of what I think we should be doing. I want it to be individually a special piece of art, and it seems to me that he wants to make money off it, whereas I want it to be more personal and like really heartfelt, connecting. Each individual Joe is different.
Okay.
I just felt really depressing about the whole thing because he hasn't really done anything to like make the money or like give me the money to like start launching the project, the design business. So I've been sitting spending more and more time on the couch and just really doing nothing all day because I'm kind of depressed about it. And I think Chris really hates my dog too, Jack. He seems to really kind of like OCD about the whole thing. He complains about how he wants everything to be spotless. He wanted like a clean rug and everything, but you know, Jack's like one of my really closest friends, you know. I've owned Jack for about 5 years now, and it just feels that he's more worried about a clean rug than having a companion there, you know. And one night recently, Chris came home from work late and just started yelling at me for saying I was like a piece of crap who sits around all day, playing with these beads, you know, I'm trying to start up, and finally said to get out, and he wanted me out of the apartment and out of his life. I felt that we didn't really talk about it afterwards, or really talked about it, so I feel very cheated, per se, about the whole situation. He said that he asked me to move out in the morning of the next day. At the end of the, wanted me to move out by the end of the month and to pay back $2,000 of the gems investment. That's my statement.
I see where you're coming from. Now, just to demonstrate that, just so I kind of understand where you're coming from, you said that you've been living with Chris for a number of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been kicked out before, is that correct?
No, we haven't. I haven't been kicked out before.
Okay, so then, so when did this whole sort of disagreement come into play?
Well, I think it's really been lately that as time came on, as like with the dog and everything's kind of like piled up. It wasn't per se a certain day. I think certain things piled up, and I think you just felt like he was done and wanted me out of the apartment.
Okay. So you asked Chris for $2,500.
Yes, for the gem investment.
To start the investment. Was this on like some sort of loaning, or was this just were you expected to pay it back over time?
Yeah, pay it back over a certain amount of time. We pay a down payment, and he agreed that he loved the idea too, but it seems that we haven't really like started it up, you know.
Okay.
It's a small buy-in fee, you know. So
I see. And you have different philosophies. It sounds to me like you're more of a sort of an individual artistic sort of philosophy where you want it to be like an expression more, and Chris seems to more play off the idea of a business being out to make money. And I think that those type of different philosophies is sort of causing tension. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have a dog named Jack.
Yes.
How old is this dog? How long have you had it for?
I've had him for about 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years. Okay.
Yeah. So he's a little bit older, or a little, you know.
Now, have you had Jack with you the entire time when you guys were roommates?
Yes. Okay. For the time, and he's also, forgot to mention this, that he's also stopped a burglary from happening because of an intruder coming in, and he barked, and he had the burglar run outside of the apartment. And also, he barked when I left the oven on one day, and so he warned me that I forgot to turn off the oven.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So, you said that Chris sees you as sort of being someone who doesn't really contribute to the whole household sort of roommate situation. He sees you as he put it as a lazy piece of excrement.
Yeah.
And I just, could you like expand on that a little bit more? Like, why do you think that that was the case? Do you think it's just because this whole business sort of is, you're trying to take this business off, but just sort of is encountering a little bit of, I want to see obstacles in the way that's causing you to, you know, be a little bit down and.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get this project to, you know, start up, and he finds it as I'm just playing with beads, you know,
Okay.
and he thinks that like the care of my dog, there's dog poop everywhere, but I don't really see that. I mean, I'm trying my hardest, you know, I'm kind of stressed out about the whole starting up the investment and everything, so.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, another point that you brought up was that Chris asked you to move out by the end of the month, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and do you want to move out by the end of the month, or do you not want to?
I do not want to move out by the end of the month.
So, as far as going to try to find a resolution to this issue, you want, now correct me if I'm wrong, you want to work on your business philosophies that are kind of causing the business to not necessarily fail, but not reach its full potential. You want to find a solution to living with Chris and having Jack live there at the same time. You don't want to move out by the end of the month. You want to stay roommates with Chris. And you just think that this whole sort of situation has been building on top of each other, and you want to try to find a way to fix this whole issue.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to ask Chris for his opening statement.
Well, I've been having a rough time at work. I mean, I'm an assistant manager for the clothing store I work at called Max Style, and the assistant manager position, it's a demanding job. I mean, we deal with fashion and style, and the fashion world is very in the now. It's always what's new, what's trending, and it's my job to kind of tease out what people are looking for, and I don't have any seniority. I'm 24, I'm really young, and I haven't really built up any tenure, and I'm kind of the new guy around, so I really don't have much control over my shifts when I'm scheduled to work. Sometimes I get called, you know, last second to come in and open the store, and sometimes I get picked to stick around late, and I get draw the late shift, and there's not much control there on my part. At work, I mean, the fact that I don't have any control over my shift kind of bugs me, and I mean, I'd say whether I like it or not, it stresses me out a bit. Just working, not having a set schedule, it's not consistent. I don't know when I'm going to be working, what's going on sometimes with my schedule, so it's really nice that all I want to do when I get done with work, especially a late shift, is come home and have a nice apartment. I want things to be clean, I want things to be put away, I don't want to have to clean the apartment, do dishes. I just want to be able to come in and sit down and read and relax, and I like to have consistency. Since my work schedule is hectic, I want things to be, you know, I just want everything to be in its place when I get back, and I don't want to have to deal with tidying things up, and I'm a bit of a neat freak. I mean, I won't lie. It really my mom was a huge neat freak when I was younger, so I kind of just grew up with that mentality, and it stuck with me, and that's just my personality, I guess. It's just what I've grown into, and I mean, Alex is kind of the polar opposite. I come home and there's dirty dishes and there's dog hair and all over the furniture, all over the carpet, and I mean, sometimes he doesn't even take, like, he gets so lazy that he won't even take his dog out sometimes, and occasionally Jack, sometimes he just poops in the apartment. And, I mean, it bugs me because I'll come home and the apartment will be a mess, and it's gotten to the point where I'm embarrassed to invite friends over. The apartment is just in disarray, and I mean, I'll, try to clean up things here and there, but for the most part, I would wager to say that it's Alex who's causing the mess. And, I mean, at work, I'm already kind of like the shy, kind of new guy, and, like, I'm kind of worried that people are thinking I'm, like, it's making my reputation as being a shy guy person even worse, because I never invite anybody over, but it's because I don't want them to see how messy of an apartment I have. That's kind of my issue with, like, the cleanliness of the apartment. That's a huge deal to me, especially coming home from work, and then, like, I just can't handle it at the stress of the day. At that point, all I want to do is relax, and he makes it really hard. He does cook, and I appreciate it, but he's very creative. He does a great job cooking. He loves to do it too. That's something that I can see. I think he has a good time doing it, but the dishes do pile up after. I mean, I could understand why, maybe for that, but, like, I'd say with the way the rest of the apartment, the condition of the rest of the apartment is kind of overrules the cooking issue for me. We did start, we kind of had this little business venture that we kind of started together. I mean, we've been best friends since high school. I mean, we didn't talk too much in college, but I mean, Alex has been my best friend for a long time, so, I mean, we were pretty excited about this, when Alex came to me with this idea for the GEMS Etsy program, where they send you a build your own jewelry kit, basically, and that's right up his alley, with how he likes to express his creativity all the time, and you were working on a book at one point in time. I think he's kind of on and off with that. And so that's just how, that's where I'm a neat freak. That's kind of how I am. He's just really creative and articulate with what he does. So, yeah, I was excited when he came to me with this. He asked that I would put down $2,500 just to get started up with the kit, and so we could start building our own jewelry, and bring over my area of expertise, the fashion and the style, from Max Style, where I work. Like, that's kind of what I do for a living, so we thought that I would be able to contribute sort of to that component of it, and then Alex would build jewelry during the day, since he doesn't really have much of a day job, where I have those crazy shifts over at the clothing store. So during the day, I wouldn't really be able to contribute much to the building. But, yeah, I mean, I was really excited going into it. It seemed like a good idea. And, I mean, we stood to make around 60% of the profits from the GEMS site, whatever we could sell, whatever we made. So, I mean, that could be, like, not even necessarily like a weekend hobby. That's more like we could stand to make some serious money off that. So I was kind of doubly excited that he brought that up to me, So I guess those are kind of the two kind of big components of where we're coming from right now. Well, with the gems, with the jewelry thing, like, everything was going great at first, but then things started to kind of fall off and go downhill, and we had different, like, creative ideas with the jewelry. I kind of did things a little more by the book, a little more like what's popular, what's happening now. He wanted to go off and create his own style, his own, like, really, some of the ideas I thought were just kind of pretty out there. Like, I didn't see anybody, I don't know if people are going to buy that, or I didn't really know what was going on. So we had some creative differences there, and that contributed to some tension. Because nobody, you know, everyone wants their opinions to be heard and, like, expressed, so maybe we should have seen that coming a little bit, but it shouldn't have been, you know, as big of a deal as it has turned into. I feel like with the whole jewelry thing still, he's been taking forever to make new jewelry, because I think he has, like, the day to work, so, you know, it just seems like it's taking him forever to produce anything new, and now kind of the supplies for the jewelry and, like, the paperwork and things, they've kind of, you know, been eaten up by the apartment. They've been swallowed up by the apartment. They're kind of all over the place, things laying here and there. It's like it's not organized anymore, you know. And it just seems like he's kind of lost interest a little bit in it almost. And so I just don't know what's going on with the whole gems and jewelry. It's just, I just felt like I contributed money to it, and I gave some of my ideas, but it seems like he's kind of steering away from that, so, you know, I'm not too happy about how it's turning out. Yeah, we kind of had, like, the incident where I came home, I had a really crappy day at work, and, you know, I just kind of all the pent-up stress and emotion from, you know, the past couple months, and, like, the apartment, you know, being uncleanly, that's been eating away at my mind, and my job scheduling, I've been really stressed out from work, and then to add to it, you know, kind of the whole jewelry, the creative differences with the gems thing, it kind of just all accumulated one day, you know, I kind of just snapped.
Okay.
I yelled at Alex quite a bit. I mean, I just came home and kind of just lost it. Yelled at Alex a lot. I said some pretty nasty stuff that I normally wouldn't want to say, but I just feel like my life is really hectic right now, and I need something to change because I'm going to lose my mind. And so I think where I'm at right now, I'd like Alex to move out, and I'd like some money to compensate for my investment and what I contributed to the whole jewelry venture. Okay. I think that's kind of where I'm at right
now. Now you said that that you have a rough time at work. Now I understand that, like, the added stress of being an assistant manager, only being young. You said you're only doing 24, and like how you have to work these hours that don't really, that are always kind of seems to be all over the place. Really, you don't have any schedule.
They are.
You could work the night shift one day and then the morning shift the next, like, and you wouldn't know it. I see how you can get stressed out from that. I'm sure that whole the whole working kind of situation can really just tear someone apart and really make you kind of worn out. And you also mentioned that you are a cleanly person. You like your apartment to be clean. You want to come back from work to a clean apartment, and you just want to relax and read.
I would just love to be able to come home, you know, kick off my shoes, and just, you know, flop down on the couch and read a book and just relax and not have to worry about anything.
Okay. And you also brought up that you feel like, paired with the stress of work, that another stress that is kind of concerning you is that the apartment is not cleaned. Is that right?
That's definitely right.
You mentioned dog hair. There's also some of Jack has made a few messes in the house.
There's been a few accidents.
But along with that is also the messes that you feel like Alex has made, which include like dishes, overall just an uncleanly apartment.
There's trash that doesn't get taken out sometimes too. Just that kind of like piles up.
Okay. And just for the record, have you like talked to Alex about this prior to the outburst that you had?
I've said, things to him here and there. I'll try to get him to maybe a little bit to like, just clean the dishes or pick up after himself. But I don't feel like I should have to. We're both adults now. I don't.
You feel like it's more expected.
I don't think I should really have to, explain to him like why you'd want to keep the apartment clean. That's just something, that's been drilled into my head. I grew up like the house was always spotless. Like I just assumed that's kind of. I don't know why you would want to live like in like a messy, dump.
Yeah. And you also said that you're embarrassed to invite friends over because of this mess. Is that right?
Yeah, the apartment is pretty bad.
And
sometimes.
do you feel like that is kind of making you look like you're the shy type of employee, not really getting along well with like the whole work?
I'm just worried that people think I'm shy at work because I
Yeah.
don't really talk to everyone a lot. A lot of the times it's just because I'm tired when I go into work, just the hours. Again, they kind of, break me down a little bit. But I don't want, like, if I could invite people over more, I feel like that would kind of,
Okay.
people wouldn't think of me, as being shy. But I just feel like I can't really do that when the apartment's a mess.
Interesting. Okay. And you also said that Alex loves to cook, but he doesn't necessarily clean the mess that he's cooked.
Oh, Alex is a hell of a cook, but he's a hell of a mess maker too, unfortunately.
And you guys have been best friends since high school, you said, right?
Yeah, in high school we were in a club together actually. We were officers in one of the school clubs and we got along really well. We both like the same kinds of music and we're into art and like architecture. We love like building like designs and sort of things like that.
Okay.
And so we were pretty great friends in high school. I mean, we didn't talk much in college because we went to different colleges, I believe.
Okay. And now another thing that I want to focus on in what you said is the whole GEMS MC program. It's the business that you made, right? The GEMS.
Well, it's like a startup. There's a website, the GEMS, it's like on Etsy, and they, Alex decided it's online. Alex discovered it, and he decided that, if we send in the money, like the money that I contributed, that they would send us a jewelry building kit, and it was like basically from there on, we would, like there were really no set guidelines. We could build the jewelry however we wanted to, and when anything we sold, we would get 60% of the profit, so we were basically working through the GEMS program on this site.
I see what you're talking about now.
Okay.
Thanks for that clarification.
No problem.
And you brought up that now, did you give Alex $2,500 or did you give him $2,000?
$2,500.
Okay, $2,500 for the start.
For the start. That we agreed to that. So
Okay.
That I would contribute that money.
And you saw this as like a way to potentially make a lot of money, given that Alex has some free time and like with his artistic mind, you figure that like you really couldn't go wrong giving Alex like a way to make money and contribute to the apartment, as well as also giving him a way to kind of like express himself in an artistic way with this jewelry.
Yeah, I thought that, well, he was working on his book too. It wasn't really something, I wasn't trying to give him something to do. He can do whatever he wants, but
Okay.
I thought it was a really good idea because we both kind of brought a different perspective to the table. So I thought this would be like a perfect idea for somebody as creative as Alex and somebody who's, kind of into design and fashion, and like with my kind of quote-unquote expertise in that field, that it would be a great idea for us and that we could really stand to make some money off of it.
Okay. And now, You say that you're like the kind of philosophies as far as business goes is you say you were more by the book, and you were more like into like focusing on the trends that are kind of like being popular at the moment and building off that, right?
I mean, compared to what Alex was making, my ideas were a little more, they weren't as creative, they were a little more basic. I just tried to design things that would sell
Okay.
and really try to, make some money off of the whole idea, because I contributed money.
Yeah.
So I want to, get my money's worth out of it, get my money back from the whole GEMS program, that's it.
And you also mentioned that it took Alex a long time to make the jewelry. Is that?
Well, at first things were going fine. I had a couple good ideas, he had a couple good ideas, and like we sold some stuff. And then he started getting more and more kind of wild ideas, and it was kind of getting harder and harder for me to agree with what he was wanting to design. And then it just seemed kind of like separate from that. It just seemed like it was taking him forever to make anything new. Like I would be waiting on him to like come up with new ideas, and it just seemed like it was taking a really long time.
Okay, I see. And now you mentioned an incident that occurred where you had like pent up stress from work. You saw that the whole room was messy. I was just wondering if you could further that a little bit more, like how you said that you snapped and you sort of lost it and said some things that right now you wouldn't really mean, and it sounds to me like that wasn't really the kind of person that you are, and it was more just like you kind of got caught up in the heat of the moment, kind of emotions were running a little bit wild, and you said some things that you don't necessarily mean. Would that be correct?
I would agree with that. Yeah. Did you want me to kind of talk about that more?
Yeah, if you wanted to talk about the incident at all.
Well, I just had a really rough week at work, and I mean, it was really just like a progressive thing. Like it was like bottled up release of emotion. It just over the past couple months, with like the dirty apartment and my work schedule, I kind of, just stress kind of built up, and I just had a rough week of work, and then one night I just kind of came home and snapped.
Okay.
I mean, it happens to everybody every once in a while,
I see what you mean. And now you mentioned that you would like some sort of compensation for the business venture that you invested in.
Yeah. I was hoping to get at least $2,000 from Alex since I contributed. I thought that would be a fair amount for from both of our contributions to the project.
And you also said that you would like Alex to move out.
I would also like Alex to move out by the end of the month.
Now, what is like is this just like the buildup of all these factors and?
I mean, I did kind of flip my lid the other night, but I still think that with my job and how the apartment is always messy and unclean when I come home, I feel like, and after the kind of failed the GEMS project we're working on, I just feel like at this point in my life that like I need like a change. So I think I'm still pretty sure that I'm gonna want him to move out at this point in time.
Okay, well, I'd like to open this up to both parties to kind of discuss and work things out a little bit. Now, one thing that I do want to focus on primarily, or I guess the first thing that I would like to focus on, as this seems to be sort of a building sort of dilemma and issue that we have here, is let's try to work on the whole apartment being clean sort of situation. Now, if you guys just want to toss out some ideas just right now before we go, toss out some ideas with what we could possibly do, and then later after our caucuses we can explore those ideas further, maybe see if there's anything else that we can consider doing, and then finally I think that there's definitely hopes in finding some sort of resolution in this whole conflict issue that we have. So now, Alex, it seems to me like Chris wants his apartment to sort of be clean when he comes back. And part of the issue that he is having, if I hear this correct, is that Jack is, Jack's the dog, dog shed, and they also go to the bathroom at times and sort of needs to be let outside and sort of walked around. So it sounds to me like something that you could possibly do that would kind of help the situation get a little bit better is, cleaning up after Jack, possibly cleaning up after yourself a little bit while Chris is out of the house, or just in general, and kind of like taking the dog out for some walks and some at times. Now, would you be opposed to that idea, or do you think that there's anything else that could be used to sort of fix this situation?
I would say I've been pretty lazy about the whole thing and not taking really a step forward of trying to fix that problem. I didn't really know that he had a stressful job, like figuring out and sharing with what he's going through. I can understand that. When he comes home, he's kind of ticked off that I'm sitting on the couch, poop on the rug, and I can make amends to, picking up the feces on the carpet around the apartment, and with the shedding problem, I can't promise that it's going to be spotless, because I can't really know when the dog is going to shed. I can, how I stay in the apartment throughout the day. I can periodically throughout the day, maybe 2 to 3 times, I can try to pick it up around the house and look for and take out the dog.
Okay.
So.
Now, Chris, do you think that would kind of make things a little bit better if Alex promises to, take after and kind of clean up after Jack a lot more?
I mean, would I maybe consider letting him stay at the equipment?
I would say that if we fix all these issues that we're having, do you think that there's any possibility that, like right now at least, that we could kind of find a way to keep you two together as roommates?
At this point, I would say that I would consider maybe letting Alex stay if he got rid of Jack and kept the apartment more clean and cleanly.
Okay. Now, do you guys think that it would be a good idea to go into an individual caucus?
Yeah, I would think that would be great.
Okay. Now, I'd like to ask, let's go with, I would like to have Chris leave the room for the moment.
Okay.
All right, Alex. I know that you got something off that you got to get off your chest. I can see it. I can read it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there anything that you want me to know that you don't necessarily want to be brought up in the kind of negotiations? Or not necessarily that, but anything that you want to tell me that you feel would further the process and get it going?
Mm-hmm. Going off of what my father told me about spending money on me being 25 and everything, spending money on making little toys. He doesn't really want me to move back in with his parents' house with the dog. I really don't have anywhere to go. I don't really have any money to pay back Chris at the moment because, I haven't been really doing anything with the jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
And the novel that I've been working on to get my degree in English isn't really going all that well, so basically kind of stuck in this situation, and I really want things to work out with Chris. With the whole dog situation, Jack's my companion, and I have to stick with him wherever I go. I feel that Jack's really the only one that is really loyal to me right now in the current situation with my parents not letting me move back into their house, and how Chris is really kicking me out. I feel like I'm really stuck in this situation. I mean, yeah.
Okay, now Alex, what I'm hearing you say is that your father said that he doesn't want to be spending money on your business because he feels like you're making, as you said, toys.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that make you feel?
No, you know how parents are always like trying to believe in what you want to do with your life. It just doesn't seem like he's really all there. He's kind of jerk about it, saying that, you know, once again, I was 25 years old, I shouldn't be borrowing money to play with toys. He is going to loan me. I asked him first, my father, to borrow some money from him so we can start the process of the whole down payment of the design. But I decided to go to Chris instead because, you know, he thought it was a good idea, and thought it was a good idea, so.
Okay. Now you know that, like, if you said that if you were to move out of the apartment, you would not be able to move back into your parents' home because, did you say that your parents would not want Jack to be living in the house with them?
No, it's more the fact with like the dog, that they don't want the dog to be in my dad's house.
Okay.
My dad really does not. He opposes the dog. He doesn't want it in the house. My mom's fine with it, but it's mainly the dog that is really making the conflict here really bad. And I gotta stick with him, you know. He's my best friend right now. He's a great dog.
Now you're working on a novel too?
Yes.
And that you said isn't going too well.
Yeah, it's basically trying for me to get my degree in English, but, you know, it isn't going very well. It's not really taking off. I'm not really working on it. I've been depressed about it. That's why I've been watching a lot of TV lately, not really doing anything. Chris isn't really supporting me in my ideas, you know, with the production, but I'd like to really stay with Chris because I have really nowhere else to go. But yeah.
Okay, and you also said that money is kind of tight for you as well. Like you don't.
Yeah, I have zero money right now to give back Chris or even you know, I really no money. I thought like I'd make profits off and help pay off the rent, but my savings account is like almost empty.
Okay.
So I can't really pay it back.
And you feel like you're stuck in the situation.
Yeah.
Now, Alex, something that I feel like will help you a lot is that it feels like you're kind of stuck in a rut at this moment, and I think that's something that can really help you kind of get back on the right foot is to, you know, you just gotta start putting in the effort. It sounds to me like the problem is that you're telling me is that you just really aren't putting enough of an effort into working on either your book, the jewelries. You're kind of just sitting on the couch watching movies, as you said, watching TV.
Yeah.
And I think that if you took that time, and it sounds to me like you still have this belief in this company, and like you still really want to do well. It sounds to me that you have a lot of energy and stuff that just isn't really being applied right now at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that something that could definitely help you is just, you know, applying that energy towards either getting a job to help, you know, pay the room and board for the apartment, and also paying Alex back the money, or paying Chris back the money that he wants to be paid back.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, going back to where this whole job situation, I can see from his eyes that he's been really ticked off about the whole coming home, the dishes are gone. I mean, the dishes are still dirty. Dog hair everywhere. Sometimes there's poop there, you know. So
Okay.
I can see that he's been really upset about the situation. I can start, you know, maybe we can think of like an idea of like sharing somehow, but like I can just start getting off my butt and start working again, you know,
Okay.
and showing a little more like enthusiasm for Chris, for me to like maybe keep on going, and maybe we can think of something with the jewelry, half and half maybe. Like we can start doing the his ideas first because he knows what the fashion style is, you know, like start off doing that, make enough money, and then maybe bring my ideas in, or once in a while do like my ideas, you know,
Okay.
until we make enough money where it's okay for me to do these, what Chris says, crazy ideas or weird ideas, you know.
I think that's a good idea, you know, kind of like let, kind of go along with Chris's ideas, see how that works, and take it from there to see what your next move is going to be.
Yeah.
So let's try to work on, working on trying to make sure that the apartment is clean.
Yeah.
Could you possibly, like, make sure that the apartment is going to be clean from now on, and
Yeah.
you know, work on, you know, taking care of Jack, and also taking care of like the messes that are made in the apartment while Chris is gone.
Yeah, like I said, I can start, you know, reapplying things that I need to be replying to what I've lacked over a certain amount of time. You know, maybe I can start making not as great food, you know, not like put so much effort into that, and maybe put more energy into cleaning around the house so that there's not a lot of dishes. You know, maybe once in a while I can make a really great meal on the weekend or something, so he's there for me to have that reassurance that like, oh, he's a really great cook, you know, have like a one-on-one time, you know. Yeah, and I can let the dog out once or twice a day or something, like I said, pick up the hair as much as I can. But with, like I said, with the hair, I can't really like have it spotless, but I'll try my best to reduce it to what it's been lately. And with the poop too, I'm not gonna just, I should probably start picking that up too. I'm really lazy about that.
And let's think about a way how you can make more money to pay, to either pay Chris back, or like see if there's any type of way that you could be contributing towards the apartment, because it sounds to me like Chris is so tied up in work because he wants to pay for the apartment and try to like, you know, live like the type of life that you guys are living right now. But it seems that like he's getting so caught up that it's causing too much stress for him. So I think that's something that you should do or try to help him with is you know, kind of supplying, like putting in money towards the apartment as well. And you know, that will really help him free up some time from work where he'll be able to, you know, not work as many hours.
Yeah, like I said, my bank account's savings account is almost empty, you know. I can start putting Chris's ideas first before mine, because like he said, that he's like up with the fashion, you know, what people want and the demand, and that revenue makes more money than what my ideas seem like we could be doing. Like I said, we can start putting more effort into making the jewels, or I can find a job maybe outside of that if it isn't like really taking off, you know, so I make enough money and then I can eventually just start working.
One possible thing is that you could ask Chris for a job in where he's working, so then you guys can, like, you know, work the same, maybe not the same hours, but you guys could at least work at the same place. It'll be a little bit easier for both of you. You'll know what each other's schedules are. You'll know like when you'll have like your own time to relax and when you can be working.
I mean, the only problem with finding a job is that with the dog, he'd be home by himself. I don't possibly I could find a dog sitter, or just leave the food and water out. I don't know.
There's also these things called a cage, where like they put dogs in there to like stay, chill out for a little bit in a house. I have one. It's great for my 2 dogs that I own. So I'd really suggest doing that if that seems like it would be a problem.
It's once again, it's like the cleanliness when he gets home, and then the dog hair, and then maybe he pooped and I didn't know, or like yeah, that would work with the cage.
Yeah, it would help. It would definitely help with that.
Yeah.
So so what I have written down so far is that you will use Chris's ideas for the jewelries first. You will start cleaning and kind of taking care of the cleanliness of the apartment. That you will try to put an effort towards, like, you know, again, getting a job and working to try to save up your own money and kind of putting the money towards the apartment to help free up time for Chris. And one thing that you want is the cleanliness to, you know, like, be realistic and not so like high in demand, but more just like, you know, realistically, like how capable you'll actually be able to do it, cleaning it. Okay, I think that this is great. Now, I think that one thing that will really help kind of speed the process along is if you would apologize to Chris for the prior conditions of the apartment.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay, so would you apologize for Chris at the end of the caucus? Okay.
And I don't want to be mentioned with the no place to go, or that I'm basically stuck in a situation. I don't think that needs to be shared with them. It's kind of sad and depressing when your parents can't really bring you back when you're in time of need. So.
I understand that. Okay, so if you would like to go and get Chris and have him come in here. Okay, Chris. So what we have settled on so far is that Alex will start using your ideas first for the jewelry company. Hopefully that'll, you know, like get some things going. So I think it sounds like he still wants to work on the jewelry company, and he thinks that that's like still a viable option, and he wants to use your ideas first because he sees like where you're coming from. He knows that you're more trendy, and like you at least know what is trendy given your work experience, and he thinks that your ideas are like, you know, like pretty feasible. Another thing that he wants to that Alex is willing to work on is cleaning up the apartment, and he also mentioned to me that he feels really sorry and bad for how the apartment was kept, and he wants to, like, you know, continue being friends with you guys. You guys sounds to me like you guys have had a great relationship since high school, and he also is willing to, you know, find a job, possibly even if you could help him get a job at where you work. You know, he feels like with all the stress that you have, that like if he could help contribute towards paying for the apartment, maybe you wouldn't have to take so many hours, you know, and maybe you could like enjoy your time and, you know, kind of free up the working part of your life so that you could like focus on other things, because it sounds to me like you're extremely stressed out with your job and everything. Now, is there anything that you want to reveal to me that you think will help?
Can I just comment on what you just told me? With the gems, yeah, I still like the idea of it. I don't think that Alex would have to kind of roll over and just, you know, only just listen to everything I say about the company. I like his input. He's really creative. I'm not saying he has bad ideas. It's just like I would like to communicate more about it. Maybe if I did have more time in the day, like we would be, you know, do like the whole project with the gem, like the jewelry making thing, would be going more smoothly if I could donate a little more of my time and effort to it. But it's not that I don't think he has bad ideas. Like I like. He has some, you know, wacky ideas sometimes, but like they're still good. Like,
okay.
I think we just communicate a little more about that. I think that's kind of not really like the main issue, but I just wanted to comment on that. Yeah, there are a few things I'd like to say now that Alex isn't really in the room.
Camren, let's go into the individual caucus. Is there anything you want to tell me before now that Alex has left the room?
Well, I'm terrified to live alone.
Okay, terrified to live alone.
Yes. With Alex moving out, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be really scared to come home. I'm gonna miss
Okay.
socializing with them.
You
That's
don't
really
you
gonna
don't
eat away
want
at me.
you don't want him to be gone.
I don't know. I mean, he annoys me so
With
much.
the mess.
The mess. I don't know if I can tolerate it anymore.
I know, dude. I've been listening to you the whole time.
But we had a good thing going with that jewelry project. We could have really made some money on it.
There you go. I think you definitely could. Now, what's something that you think you can do to try to fix that?
Maybe donate some more of my time to
Maybe
it.
donate some more of your time.
Maybe I could somehow figure out a way around my work schedule.
Okay,
Contribute a little more.
something that Alex and I had come up with is that maybe Alex could start working, and maybe that would cause you to like not have to work so much to support the apartment, support your whole like kind of room situation that you guys have together, your partnership, call it. And I was thinking that if Alex starts working, you won't have to work as much, so
That might free up some time,
some
possibly.
time,
That'd be
put
good.
time into that business, get that business going.
Alex is gonna have to clean up his act, though.
Alex has promised me. He promised me in writing that he will clean up the dog. You guys have your own room, right? You guys
Yeah.
have your own individual rooms. Jack can stay in his room in a cage in a kennel.
He would do that.
He would.
I think that would help out a
Let's
lot.
bring it up to him.
All right.
All right. Do you think that you got everything off your chest, or is there anything else that we need to go over?
As long as he's gonna clean up the apartment and
Clean up the apartment.
so it's not a slot,
Not a sloppy place. You
Yeah.
want to invite people over. It's got to look nice. You need to come back to a nice, clean apartment where you can relax, read a book. Relax after
Yeah.
a long work day. Understand?
That's agreeable.
All right, we got this.
I think so.
All right, let's call him back in and let's get this thing going. All right, guys. Well, now that we're back together, I think I may have some solutions in mind that could possibly work out. Now, just to refresh you guys, what we talked about was cleaning the mess in the apartment. That was one of the first things that was brought up, and it's something that's very important. Would you agree, Chris?
I would definitely agree.
Would you agree, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was thinking is that possibly, Alex, you could explore the idea of possibly cleaning up after yourself and cleaning up after Jack. Do you think you would be able to do that?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so we both agree on this?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Then I will write that down. Jack, I'm going to write down Alex will clean his messes and Jack's messes. Perfect. Another thing that we kind of explored was Jack being a little messy and being around the house. So something that Chris and I came up with was that, how you guys both have your own separate bedrooms. Maybe Jack could possibly stay in your room for like whenever he's alone. I don't know if you would feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
You think that's fine?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can put that into the agreement? All right, I'm gonna write down Jack will stay in cage in Alex's room. You agree?
Yes.
Another option that I think that we explored was the possibility of Alex getting a job. Me and Alex talked about this. We thought that would be a good idea to allow you to free up some of your own time in your hectic job schedule, and maybe put that time in towards the business that you guys wanted to do.
Okay.
I know that we talked about it a little bit in our separate caucus as well.
Yeah.
So would that be an option for you, do you think?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Alex will get.
Yeah, if Alex starts helping on the rent, then I shouldn't have to pull as many hours and shifts. So
Exactly. So now that we got that taken care of, I was thinking that possibly, if Alex can get a job, then how you'll have more free time to not have to work as much to support the apartment. Possibly you could put that time in towards the business, if you wanted to still go with that venture.
yeah, I'd be excited to do that.
All right, is that cool with you, Alex?
I can start working on it during my off time of my job. So maybe
Okay.
during the weekends or whenever I'm off work.
Excellent. So I will write that down. I'm writing down if Alex gets job, then Chris will be able to cut back on hours at your job, right?
Yep.
And we said that this will be able to put time towards the business.
I think that's a good idea.
And let's talk about the $2,500 that Alex owes you. I was thinking that, you know, when Alex gets his job, when he gets on his feet, he could like pay you like maybe over time or like one lump sum. Do you think that would work out for both of you parties?
Yeah, over
As long as he gets a job and I could give him a little bit of time, you know, come up with the money
Get on
and
his
start
feet.
paying it back. Yeah.
Exactly. Alex,
I think that's reasonable.
is that reasonable for you?
I could definitely do that.
Okay, great. Write down Alex will pay Chris the money he owes him back over time. And when you get back on your feet.
Within a reasonable amount of time.
Okay. Within a reasonable amount of.
I mean, it depends on what job he gets and like how much money he makes. So that's kind of we'll have to do like follow up on that or something.
So, guys, I just want to take a moment to read this to you and see if you will both agree with it. So what I have written down is that Jack will stay in the cage in Alex's room most of the time. Like, especially when he's alone, you know, don't want to get messes all over the place. And then I also wrote down that Alex will get a job. Do you agree with that? Alex will clean his messes and Jack's messes. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I said if Alex gets a job, Chris will be able to cut back on hours and be able to put time into the business. Would you agree with that, Chris?
I'm hoping so.
Okay, and then also Alex will pay Chris the money back that he owes him over time and when he gets back on his feet within a reasonable amount of time. Would you guys both agree with that?
I'd be perfectly okay with that.
Okay, any set time that you want to put down?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends on what job he gets and when he gets it started up. I would just hope it'd be, you know, maybe like within the year or something.
Do you think you could do that by the end of this day a year from now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
1 year. Alright guys, I just want to take a moment to see and reflect back on all that we have accomplished. We've addressed several issues, one being the apartment being messy, Jack wanting to be able to, you know, you need Jack, keep him as a companion, and we also took care of like getting, you know, you guys back working on this business and like getting more back on track. And also, you know, that allows Alex to pursue his passion of designing this jewelry, and also allows you to have like an important part in this business that you wanted. So I think that it's just important to like, you know, reflect back on these extreme changes that we've made. And would you guys think that if this agreement works out, that you guys can continue being roommates?
I think as long as we can both stick to the changes that we proposed, that things between Alex and I will be going a lot more smoothly around the apartment.
I definitely agree with that.
Okay.
Start doing more around the apartment.
That's great. Well, guys, I ask that we both sign this agreement, and I'll sign it myself, and then I'll put it to the court. You know, I think that we got a lot of things done today, and I'm really happy that we came to this mediation.
Can I have some of the refreshments provided now?
Yes.